Hello and welcome to this revision video for Unit 7i on energy resources. Energy resources are systems available that store large amounts of energy for humans to use. It's not the same as, although it's linked to, these ideas you've been learning about of energy stores and energy transfers. So what do we use energy resources for? Well, these are the four main reasons: heating, generating electricity, cooking, and transport. I'm sure you can think of individual examples of each one that you experience at home or at school. So which energy resources do we use? Here are some pictures of the fossil fuels: coal, oil, and natural gas. We get these from the ground. They're made from the remains of organisms that died millions of years ago. Coal is made from plants that died and were buried in mud. Oil and natural gas, slightly different. They're tiny animals and plants that lived in the sea and buried in mud and sand. Over millions of years, they change into fossil fuels that we burn to release their store of energy. Another energy resource we use: nuclear fuel. Uranium is one of these. They release energy in a slightly different way. They're not burnt. We also have biofuels, sometimes called biomass. This is made from plants or the waste from animals. You can see here crops being grown to make biofuel, or using just wood in fires, and in some countries the animal waste, the dung, is dried and used for heating. There are also other examples such as solar power. There is a difference between solar panels and solar cells. What we often think of solar panels that are on roofs are really called solar cells. So solar panels use energy transferred from the sun by heating to heat water. So in that top picture you can see tubes full of water, and that's heated from the sun. Whereas solar cells use energy transferred from the sun by light to generate electricity, and that's what we most often find on the roofs of homes in the UK. But wind power as well uses the force of wind to turn large blades, and the blades turn a generator which generates electricity. These can be offshore, as in the sea, or onshore, often on high mountain regions where the wind is strong. It's one of the largest energy resources we have in the UK. We also have hydroelectric power. This uses energy transferred by the force of falling water to turn a turbine. This is what it looks like if we did a cross section. On the left hand side there's a reservoir of water. There's some kind of dam. The water has to fall through, passing a turbine into that lower level water. Wave power as well uses energy transferred by the force of moving water from waves in the sea to turn a generator. And another use of water is tidal power. So that's using the force of moving water from the tides in the sea to turn a generator under the water, again generating electricity. And finally, there's geothermal power. So water is heated by pumping it through hot rocks underground. In this diagram, you can see what the cross section would look like. You've got cold water being pumped underground, and it's close to hot rock which heats the water and comes back up as steam to turn a turbine and generate electricity. There are two different ways of grouping energy resources. One is whether it's renewable or not. So non-renewable, these are energy resources that cannot be replaced at the rate humans use it, and so we have a limited supply of those. They'll eventually run out, such as fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, and nuclear fuel. And then renewable fuels, or renewable energy resources, I should say. They can be replaced. So Plants, for example, can be grown to make more biofuel. Another way of grouping is whether the energy was stored originally, was originally from the sun. So these are some examples of those that were. So solar power naturally from the sun, biofuels and fossil fuels. So the sun provides energy for plants to grow, and animals get their energy from the plants they eat. Wind is caused by heating from the sun. Other ones, hydroelectric power. Clouds form from water evaporated by the heat of the sun, and then waves are also due to the sun. The ones that are not from energy from the sun would be nuclear, tidal, and geothermal. One of the main areas to look at here is meeting energy demand. We can't rely on one resource to meet all our energy needs. Decisions need to be made. You'll have heard a lot about advantages and disadvantages of each energy resource, just to pick out the main ones. Fossil fuels, they might be convenient to use, but they release polluting gases when they burn, such as carbon dioxide, which leads to climate change. And they're non-renewable. Nuclear doesn't release those polluting gases. However, it does produce lots of dangerous waste materials which are radioactive. And that can be harmful to the environment and humans. Renewable resources are the best in terms of they don't release polluting gases, they are renewable. However, there is a difficulty with the reliability of these. They're not available all of the time. For example, solar power just isn't available at night, and it's not always windy, so you can't always rely on wind power. So here are a few questions just to check your understanding. Have a go at these, pause the video, and check your answers afterwards. There are 9 of these questions. So here are the answers. C, D, A, and B. Here are another 4. Pause the video. And here are the answers. B, B, D, and D. Finally, a longer answer question. Smith buys some solar panels to heat water for his house. Explain how this will help cut his gas bills, help the environment, and why he can't rely on solar panels alone for his energy needs. Pause the video. So here are the answers. It will help cut Mr. Smith's gas bills because he no longer needs to burn natural gas to provide hot water. It will help the environment because he's burning less fossil fuels such as natural gas, so there'll be less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, so that will reduce climate change. And why can't he rely on solar panels alone? Well, there isn't always enough light, it's not sunny enough. And we do need to consider different energy resources for generating electricity. It's not that he just needs to heat water for his house. There are also needs for maybe watching television or having the lights on. They won't be able to do that using hot water from the solar panels. Well, best of luck, and do replay this video again if you need some more help.